Hi everyone, Happy New Year! So we're filming this on New Year's Day. It's coming to you fresh and live. Well, not live, but it's coming fresh. So what are we going to reveal to you today? Well, nothing too dirty, I can assure you. Gary's keeping himself to himself. But we are going to reveal our plans for January. In fact, our plans for this week.
That's right.
So, I don't know about you guys. We had a good Christmas, but my God. Look, have a look at this and you'll see what kind of Christmas we had. It started off pretty well, but it went downhill very rapidly. Check this out. Feliz Navidad! Woo! Feliz Navidad! Woo! Oh, God. Oh, I'm so full. Oh, babe. Oh, God. I don't know if I want something sweet now, babe.
We haven't got anything sweet. We've scoffed a lot.
Have we got any wine left?
The wine went 2 days ago.
Oh, what about, have we got any cheese? I don't even like cheese. Have we got any left?
Oh, no cheese.
Oh. Oh.
We have to do something.
We do, babes. I don't know what we're going to do in 2024. Oh. Joking aside, we've obviously piled on loads of pounds, and it's not just because of Christmas. It's because of like being in America and... well, it's not America's fault, it's our fault. We could have said no, but you know...
Well, we didn't. Not often.
We didn't. So anyway, before we get to where the big reveal is and where we're heading to, let's talk a bit about America. And let's talk about the costs. Right, this is serious. I'm getting my glasses on for this. Right, let's start with the fuel, Gary. So roughly, what were we looking at fuel for each month? How much did fuel cost in the States?
Okay, so basically fuel varies across the states. Now, sometimes, some places it was cheap. It went down to about $3.49 in some states per gallon, which works out to about 73 pence per litre. In the more expensive states, California being the most expensive, it was up around $7.99 per gallon, which is about 163 a litre. Now, that's more expensive than some parts of the UK. So on the whole, lots of it was cheaper, but there are some that's expensive. Now we budgeted and probably used around $300 to $400 per month on fuel. And that was us traveling about 2,000 miles a month on average.
Yeah, about 500 a week, wasn't it?
Yeah.
So then there's LPG, or gas, as you might want to call it, whatever you call it, propane, it's the same thing. So what were we spending roughly a month on propane?
That was pretty good. I reckon a month we spent about $20 on gas. Now, that gas, propane, that heated our water, did our heating on those cold nights, and also ran the fridge. So really economical, about $20 per month.
There wasn't many cold nights though, was there?
Not many.
And he's boiling, so we didn't need it on very much. He's like a radiator, just letting us all know. So then... the next big spend that you have, so you've got your fuel, your propane, food. Now, food is expensive in the States, but you can shop around. We are not very cheap with our food, are we? We like a bit of salmon, organic food. We like to eat well. And we were spending around about $125 a week on our shopping. Yeah. And that's not including our wine, which was probably doubling it up on some days, wasn't it? But around about 125. So you need to budget roughly 500, but that will give you quite a good variety of food.
Yeah.
So you could probably do it less. Then the next major cost is campsites, isn't it?
Yes.
So...
yeah, I think campsites varied. Obviously, we had lots of free nights. We did more expenditure on campsites when we first got over there, we got the lay of the land. Some campsites... were really cheap. So the Corps of Engineers ones are sort of $14 to $24. And then the more established, privately owned sort of campsites, especially things like the KOA, you can go up to sort of $60, $70 for an average site.
Up to well over 100.
And well over 100 in certain
really,
areas.
Yeah, certain areas like Florida, they can have some expensive sites.
Yeah.
And also, San Francisco, it worked out cheaper for us to stay in a hotel than it did to go to a campsite. Yeah. So, you got to work out roughly what you're willing to spend on it. what we did learn is the Harvest Host worked really well for us, because you're spending about $20 to $30 to stay somewhere. It's probably dry camping, so you're not plugging in necessarily. However, you're getting a product for that.
Yeah.
So you're probably getting some nice fresh eggs or some lovely organic veg, but it's really good quality produce usually. So we enjoyed that.
Yeah, it was great, wasn't it?
But then the sort of more towards the second half of our 9 months, we basically used iOverlander, which is like my favourite app in the States for finding sort of free places to park. There's some really good information on the site as well. Some of it's a bit out of date, but that people need to update it. If they want an updated app, then people should, they can sign in and get involved. Yeah. A brilliant app. And we didn't spend that much on campsites in the end, did we?
No.
So I think on average, we looked at about sort of $200 to $300 a month in the beginning. But by the end of it, we weren't spending much more than $80 a month, were we?
Not really.
Maybe one a week, maybe none a week. It just depended where we were. So another cost you're going to have to factor in is a mobile phone. And we wanted an unlimited data, didn't we? So we started off with $60 for a month, wasn't it? Unlimited data.
Yeah.
And that was great for us. And we weren't actually doing any social media in the beginning, but it was enough. We found it was enough. We augmented it with a bit of Wi-Fi here and there.
But then we started having the issues with my credit and debit cards when they were getting cancelled. So we needed to contact the UK, which was inordinately expensive doing it on my UK phone. Mm-hmm. So we upgraded our monthly package to the $75 package, which allowed calls back to the UK, which was good.
So you've got to factor that in. And it's really up to you. I mean, you might not need as much data, to be honest, as we did. Don't forget, we were uploading to YouTube and all sorts of bits and pieces. If you're just using it primarily as, to keep in contact with people, you might be able to get away with a package for $30. Mm-hmm. So you don't necessarily have to spend the money we did. So the big reveal. Oh, Gary. Right. So roughly, how much could you get away with? Well, we kind of worked it out, the bare bones. So, your fuel, your gas, or your propane, as you might call it in the States, your food, your campsites, everything you're going to need, not taking into consideration any problems you might have with your van. You should always have a little bit of funding for your van. You could get away with around about $800. No problem. And have quite a comfortable sort of tour. Yeah. And that's about $630 to £650, depending on your exchange rate. So that would be basic. And then if you wanted to mix it up a little bit, so you had, maybe a little bit more food, a bit of wine in the van, a bit more camping, you're looking at about $1,000 a month, £1,000 a month. But if you wanted to be a lot more flexible, not living like, the Queen of Sheba, as Gary wants to.
She's a good role model.
So not quite larging it too much, but certainly being able to pretty much like kind of how we would be. Yeah. We were going to lots of things. We went to Graceland. We went to Dollywood. We drank and we ate. For England, we supported the cause. So roughly about £1,500 a month will give you quite a comfortable existence. So that would work out about $13,500 over that period. Don't forget, you've got to take into account your shipping costs, your insurance costs. And if you haven't seen the shipping video costs, I'll put a link down below. Here we go with my linkage. I'll put the links down below. And those are the things you need to take into consideration. It's not a cheap thing to do. I always say this to people, it's not a cheap thing to do, but it's a once in a lifetime thing to do. And if like somebody like Gary, who's done 39 years in the British Army, and when you finished, it's a nice thing to be able to take you from this, transition you from working in an environment that's really quite fast paced and you need to be, constantly on your game, to something really different. And that's what it did for us, isn't it?
It was great. It was really good. And for me, it meant that when I left the military, I had something to do. And that was so important. Yeah,
it was perfect. So one of the things you might want to consider is what apps you're going to get, isn't it? So we got a few apps. First of all, Harvest Host. We don't work for Harvest Host. I know it bloody sounds like we do. We're always going on about it. I'll get Harvest Host. Anyway, it was brilliant for us. The Harvest Host app, and then the Boondockers Welcome app, which is like a subsidiary inside it.
Yeah, same one.
Cost us around about 150 quid for the year. So £150 for the year. Sam's Club. Now, we weren't sure whether to get this Sam's Club membership.
Yeah.
But it was all right. It had some benefits.
Yeah, it was. It was good. It wasn't that expensive. It was what, about £30, I think.
Yeah, I think it was
for the
30
year.
quid for the year.
And that
wasn't
allowed us to empty our waste in any Camping World
it? If they had one,
shops,
yeah.
if they had a waste sort of
Really handy
Yeah,
that is, isn't it?
was. And then also Good Sam's campsites, we can go in and empty our waste for free.
And you
as
get a
well.
discount at these good camps, at some of these campsites.
Yeah.
We didn't use them very often, but for the waste alone, and you also get the Sam's Club discount when you buy things in Camping World.
Yeah.
Not a massive fan of Camping World after my mega fall at Camping World.
No.
However, you can't knock the ability to be able to use
And also
that.
in some, I think the Flying J or the Pilot J
Yes.
petrol stations or gas stations, they give you some money off as well, depending on where they are.
And they often have things like water and stuff available, don't they? So that's worth getting. Then, obviously, if you're going to be doing a bit of touring like we did, you're going to want to go to the national parks. They're incredible. So we got the US National Parks pass, and that was about £100 for the year.
About £100, but that's
well worth it.
Yeah, I mean you're gonna recoup going into 2 parks. You've recouped that money.
Well, maybe not 2, but certainly 4. You would. I mean, we went to Yellowstone, Grand Canyon. Where else did we go?
We went Mount Rushmore, Badlands.
Yeah. So before you knew it, we'd easily recouped that money.
Yeah.
We also bought one in Canada as well for some of the Canadian ones,
did.
which are gorgeous as well. But that was cheaper. It was about 80. I think it was about £80.
Yeah.
But that so allow maybe 300 for your wraps as well for the year. So just to give yourself a bit more comfort, really. So. Take the glasses off for this, Gary, because it's very important.
It is.
Now for the big reveal. What are we going to be up to? So instead of me telling you and spilling the beans so quickly, let's eke it out. Check this map out. This is where we're heading next. So, now, secrets out the bag, cats loose. We're off to Cyprus.
We are.
So, we did cost up shipping our motorhome to Cyprus, but it was very expensive. So, how much was it going?
Prohibitively expensive. It was about £2,500 each way.
Yeah,
so unless you're going for a year, it's just not worth it.
And you're not paying that much more. It's just a £1,500 more to get to the States, it seems like.
Yeah.
Anyway, we were planning to head to Europe in the motorhome next week. But I don't know whether any of you know, well, you probably do, some of you. We've been doing quite a bit of house sitting over Christmas. And we're part of a site called Trusted House Sitters. And what we do is, in between living in our motorhome or in between travelling, we stay in other people's houses. So we house sit. We're in a house sit right now. And it allows us the opportunity to get the van into the shop, get some jobs done. She's just had a lovely service. She's all oiled up. She's doing really well, isn't she? We just spent a couple of grand on her, actually. She needed some issues resolving, mainly on a flooring. Engine's sweet as an nut.
Engine is fine. It sailed through its MOT, which was fantastic. New tyres tomorrow, and the floor is now solid.
It's perfect. So we're really happy with the van. But when we were over Christmas, unfortunately, I don't want to go on about it, but I've been quite unwell. And I've had quite a bad chest infection. I've not been able to shake it for like the last couple of weeks, to be honest. So I was ready for a little bit of sunshine. And we saw an opportunity on Trusted House Sitters for a month in Cyprus looking after somebody's cat, which we applied for and we've been accepted for. So we fly out to Cyprus for a month on Wednesday.
Yes.
So if any of you motorhomers, and you can be from anywhere all over the world, are interested in how do you go about getting part of these house sitting jobs, we will be doing a video about trusted house sitting. We will also be doing some videos in Cyprus, but we don't know what yet, do we? We won't reveal it yet, but if you want to watch a bit more of us, why don't you hit that subscribe button that's there? You know, the one that says red, subscribe. So press that now. Subscribe button. We haven't got that many to hit the massive
bell.
Number. No, not to hit the bell. Gary doesn't know a word what he's on about. If they ring the bell, Gary, what it means is they get a notification to say Julia and Gary have uploaded something.
Right.
That's what it is. So Gary and I are heading off to Cyprus And we're going to have a month of hopefully some nice warm air, fully get my chest right. I don't know if that sounds right.
I wouldn't know if you'd have said out, that wouldn't have been wrong.
Oh, God. You can say out. Flipping out. Nobody needs to see any of that stuff. Thanks very much. This is the clean channel. So anyway, none of that stuff's happening. But we are going to go to Cyprus. We are going to spend a month in Cyprus, aren't we?
Yeah,
so we will be there till the beginning of February. And then after that, we will be spending a couple of days getting everything we need for Europe sorted. But we will already have done our plan, and we will have shared our next journey plan with you, which will start the first week of February. We haven't quite decided if we're heading down towards Greece or towards Spain, but we do know that we're country hunting. That wasn't easy to say. We are country hunting for where we will eventually buy a house, and it may be this year, it may be next year. So we may even check out some property in Cyprus. So if you have been to Cyprus, let us know. If you want to know anything about Cyprus, let us know in them comments. And if you just want to wish us a happy new year like we're going to wish you, just pop it in the comments below. Listen, guys, we've really enjoyed having you along our ride this year.
Been amazing.
We're hoping for lots of fun, laughter, and maybe some facts and figures as we go along. We certainly got the figure. That's a fact.
But it's an amazing figure.
Oh, no, love you. Right, okay then, that's us. We love you. We love each other. We'll see you soon.
Take care.
Take care, everyone. Bye. Love you all.